The latest news, national issues, the political scene, and conversations with prominent personalities. All these firsthand at the forefront. Good morning. I am Attorney Karen Jimeno. We just had Congressman Erwin Tulfo last Wednesday, and another Tulfo is about to grace our studio. The latest OCTA Research survey of senator preferences for the 2025 elections just came out, placing him second behind his younger brother Erwin. Unknown to many, he is the first member of the Tulfo family to go into broadcasting, dating back to 1997. Although Ben Tulfo has not officially stated his political plan, will Ben Tulfo become the third Tulfo brother to throw his hat into the political ring? We have with us live here at BNC, veteran broadcaster Ben Tulfo. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Karen. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay.
And to start on a lighter note, we'll show you photos here at our LED.
Okay.
And in a few words, give us the first words or description that come to your mind.
The best I can, I'll do it.
Let's start. So here, I think this is Mon Tulfo.
Brother elder.
Very literal. Weird you're not in speaking terms?
No, we're all speaking terms, especially when my mother passed away. We realized that it's time to really, catch up because we're so busy, all of us.
Okay.
At Mon is basically the elder brother, has influences, getting into the media. He started it all.
Okay. Next photo. Rafi Tulfo.
Rafi, yeah. He is a good brother. Pretty boy.
Pretty boy.
Yeah.
Okay, next photo. This is Erwin Tulfo.
Yeah, it's the good boy, the youngest.
Okay.
Very nice.
So youngest and a good boy.
Yeah.
Are you closest to him?
Oh, we're all close because we were in one show one time, if you recall. That was in TV5, that's T3. The three brothers all together, T3. It's me, Rafi, and Erwin. Three of us.
Where are the other brothers, Tucci, Bong, Joseph, and Edel?
Well, Tucci's in the United States. And then one is in Davao. The other one's deceased, Mon, the eldest. Now, let me start with Mon first, the eldest. And then we have, Attorney Karen. Go back. Okay. Mon, my deceased brother Felix, then Tucci in the U.S., and then Wanda in Davao, and then myself. And then Bong retired from the U.S., now in here in the Philippines, and then Joseph is still in the U.S., and Rafi, and then Erwin, and then Adele in the U.S.
Okay, so 6 brothers.
Yes.
And next photo. This is Carl.
Carl is my son that is following my footsteps. Followed, the course, graduate of called communication and media management. And he graduated just 2 years ago, so he's being trained now, groomed, being the chief operating officer of BTAG Multimedia Network.
Okay, following in your footsteps. Okay, last photo. Oh, this is Plantation Bay in Mactan, Cebu.
That is a very memorable place, the birthplace of BTAG, conceptualized out there. That is a very memorable place for me.
So this is where you conceptualize BTAG,
Yes.
the media company. And when you say BTAG, that term itself, does it mean snare or to get, why is it BTAG?
BTAG started with the word, it's like a snare, yeah, it's trap. In Filipino, it's called lambat, silo, patibong, bitag. So if you're a bad guy, and you're really doing something that's not right, well, and you got some victims, we stand up for that victim of yours against this, by doing all the things that we have to do straightforward, right in your face.
So it was really the word itself, it's part of your advocacy.
Yes,
To catch
yes.
people who...
It's also have good definition, like nabitag ka sa kagandahan, the good side. I think I'm attracted and I like this. And the other one, I don't like this. I abhor this. I hate this. So righteously, masama to eh. Huwag natin gawin to. Ito okay, tularan natin.
And just on personal facts about you,
Yes.
you can answer this very quickly. Are you still married or single?
Well, I am basically, for now, in the process of my marriage. Is strange now, but we're in talking terms. So we're working on something on a common ground, and but we're still talking terms.
Okay. What is the influence of your mom, Caridad, on you?
Malaki. It's very big. My mother taught us to fear God above all. Fear God. Empathy, compassion, and pity. And she was always telling us that time, you're all lucky. And because you're lucky, thank God, look up in high heavens, help those people who are really, really in need of help.
And the influence of your dad, Ramon Sr.?
My father was in the military, so he's very straightforward, courageous, brave. Taught us to stand up and fight for what is right. But then again, choice and consequence. There will be consequence. Make good choice when you're standing up for little ones.
Okay. And what distinguishes you from your brothers? So a lot of people always confuse the Tulfo brothers. It's a very popular surname. When you say Tulfo, it's very recognized, but they always say, which one you see again? Siya ba yung senator, yung congressman, or yung nasa media? People get confused. So how are you different from your brothers?
First, I'm an executive. I run my own company, and being an executive, you're looking at your people. You have 4 vital functions in every organization, and in every organization you have finance, operations, marketing, and research and development. So running that kind of, a corporation or an organization requires and entails a lot of planning, interaction. That's basically because you're being independent. So what separates me from them is that I think it's just that I'm more straightforward. If I say I like you, I don't like you, I don't like you. If I say, you did something, this and that, I'll go straight and say, right in your face.
Well,
Straight.
even more straightforward than your brothers. We would consider the Tulfos to be straightforward. So
Yes.
you must be very straightforward.
Brutally straightforward and frank.
Okay. And you were the brains behind the TV show Isumbong Mo Kay Tulfo. Is that true? Because it became like a very popular term, ipatulfo na yan. So were you the brains behind Isumbong Mo Kay Tulfo?
I was the guy responsible to make it on TV for Mon and help him launch it on RPN 9. So planning it and how to go about it. So I did behind the scene, tactically, strategically launching it, and even forming the corporation. Which
How
is,
long ago was this?
And this was way back in I just came from the United States, so that was in 1995 and 1996, launching it on TV.
Who would you say among the Tulfo brothers brought the fame and the branding to the Tulfo name?
We have to give credit to Mon. Okay, he's the eldest. He's got a big influence on us. As a matter of fact, I think he was the one who started it all, but I had my way because I was a DJ back then, and right after graduating in college, I became a DJ, even supporting myself being a disc jockey. So it was me and Mon. Mon was writing as a columnist, if I remember it, at the Bulletin Today. I was a disc jockey. So iba yung prestige ng mga DJ nung araw, mga Inglesero. So magkaiba kami. He was writing, I was on the broadcast.
And I can sense a twang from you, from speaking. Did you live in the U.S.?
Yeah, even before in the U.S., as a disc jockey, we were taught to speak exactly like those American disc jockeys. So we always had to carry a tape and listen. Ben, this is you. This is how you sound. Just make sure study it carefully. So keep listening and listening and listening. So it comes naturally. So, and also when I lived in the United States, it was so easy for me to communicate, and there was a prize. You came to the Philippines, but you speak good English.
And what got you into television? So you started as a disc jockey. That means also you were playing on radio?
Yes.
And so what made you go into television?
Well, I was encouraged because I was helping my brothers get into TV, whether it's Mon or Rafi. And I was also instrumental helping Rafi launch this Philippines Most Wanted to, now it's Wanted sa Radyo. Philippines Most Wanted was a show going after criminals, the scumbag, real. But then again, they changed that because I was already an executive that time and I couldn't really pay attention and focus to it. I shy away and decided to be the executive of that company that I worked with. And so I decided to think, why should I not be? I'm a journalist. That's my course. So now, and I said to myself, okay, I became an editor-in-chief for a little paper, which is a sister company of Manila Standard. So now I said to myself, hey, I'll do a show for myself. And it's Bitag.
And this was in what network?
We started with TV5. It was short-lived. It was like only for less than a year. And then IBC 13. And then I got a break in IBC 13 because that time PBA got out of that network. So we were, invited. And I was basically also invited by UNTV. And UNTV and Channel 5 invited me to join them. And that's where, there was my brothers together, and then PTV4, and then after that IBC, CLTV 36. And we have our own channel now, which is Bitag Official, which has millions of subscribers and followers.
And now let's talk some politics.
Yes.
You've placed second in the recent OCTA survey for the senatoriables, but you have been consistently also topping the surveys. You often are in the top 5. What is your comment on that?
Well, when somebody includes your name on the survey and asking permission, I say, doesn't matter, doesn't really matter. And then you'll be surprised it's going up. I think it's what people see, the perception. Siguro, just like in simple language, madali kasi kaming lapitan eh. Madali kaming hanapin, madali kaming puntahan, mabilis kami umaksyon, which is what Bitag is all about. Standing up for the little ones, the voiceless, the faceless, and those who can't defend themselves. And these are the victims of all forms of abuses, exploitation, deceit, and neglect. So they keep trekking in our office, hundreds of them every day, so that people get used to our show. And so I guess that's the reason why that recall. We're not public servant, we're private, so we're doing a little bit more of a community service, which is more like volunteerism, filling the needs of those people who come to you. But then again, as time goes by, you keep wondering, is this all there is? You keep doing the same thing over and over until you see there's something wrong. There's something wrong. You have to strengthen the system. I believe it's under legislation because we've been helping some other legislature.
We'll go into details about the legislation that you've influenced later. And if, for example, you enter politics, your brother Rafi is currently in Senate. Your brother Erwin is in Congress, and your nephew Ralph is also in Congress. What would you say about those who would criticize that as the Tulfo family is starting to create a political dynasty?
I believe they're right, not political dynasty, media dynasty. It all began there. We were lording it over. I'm sorry, it's not, just stating the fact. The four brothers all together in the media was the common denomination, helping people. Small ones, those the voiceless and the faceless. Suffered the victims of abuses, exploitation, so forth and so on. So we lorded it over. And so, is that dynasty? No, it's not. It's basically a choice, willfully, deliberately, intentionally helping those people who are not even public servant. So that's not dynasty.
Where do you get your funds right now to help people?
Well, we're a corporation, a network where we have a lot of, advertisers for our, television shows. And we managed to work with some other, government corporations, or private corporations, not the government. But we have some, revenues from the government for our television network, which is for our television program. But the community service, it's coming from those other, corporation understanding what we're doing, helping them, feeding them, sending all these bread and, accommodating them in a hotel pag galing sa probinsya para makarating lang. And there's also an airline assisting us na makauwi, and also the bus company. So that's what we're doing.
So for the airline, there's an airline that assists you in bringing home OFWs?
Yes. Normally, those coming from Mindanao, kasi pumupunta sila eh. But coming into Luzon, only, and then you'll be surprised, why come to us? And so probably because, they're seeing Rafi too, so dumadami ng dumadami. So we learned to, work with other corporations.
Senator Rafi has a program also in your network?
Rafi is with TV5. I am independent. We have this acquisition of airtime, which is from 10 to 12 noon, all about helping people. It's ipabitag mo.
Is there no rivalry among the brothers if you have different networks that you're associated with?
There's no rivalry. We worked already before together, TV5. So Rafi's already in the Senate, and is still doing it when he's got time. I am full-time in what I do as an executive running the network. And one of the shows that we produced for how many years now, the last almost 25 years, is Pambansang Sumbungan, which is what we call Ipabitag Mo. So this is the program that caters to people who are what I call the faceless and the voiceless, and they come to you wanting help. So victims of abuse, as I said, exploitation, deceit, and neglect. You see everything in there.
So Ben, it seems like you have this advocacy through BTAG that you help other people using private funds. And since you've been topping the survey, there seems to be a calling as well to go into public service. So for the record, are you going to run for the 2025 senatorial elections? But before you answer that question, we'll have to take a short break. At the Forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the Forefront. And Ben, before the break, we were asking you, for the record, will you be running in the 2025 elections?
A lot of people are asking me that. As a matter of fact, let me answer this. Ilang presidente nang nagdaan? Ilang eleksyon na nagdaan? How come nobody notices what we're doing? Why only now? we've been doing all these helping people from way back in 2002 officially. And so now, probably because they saw Rafi there, they're saying that, hey, susunod ka na. Oh, the Erwin is there. But I'm still with the media. I still have to think about it. But, you know, I have a serious thinking, but I'm not going to tell you, but it's all under the graces of God. I believe in the divine providential. So I have a strong faith in God. There's such thing as, you know, providence. When you say your fate, it means your destiny from God or destiny man-made.
What type of signs are you looking for if it's divine providence?
I keep praying for, you know, clarity, but I already have that decision. I'll keep it to myself because a lot of people are, you know, if they hear you this, they will attack you left and right. Yan na naman, dynasty na naman. They forgot that ano ba yung origin talaga ng mga Tulfo? Let me just not talk about myself. What's the origin of the Tulfo? We've been helping people. And so now, we're not even, to call us dynasty, anong nagawa ng mga Tulfo na yan? What else will have to show? The records. You have the files, 11,000, you know, episodes, programs, helping people successfully, even drug operations. You know, let me go back, you know, being in the media, we're truth seeker, we're truth teller, but we go beyond that. I'm an advocate. So now, what's the use of telling the truth and seeking the truth or seeking the truth and telling the truth if you don't have any advocacy? You know, I'm not an agnostic type of media person, which there's nothing wrong with that, being independent, being in the fourth estate. So you check the other three, you know, institutions. And being in the fourth estate, you can see the infirmities of the other three institutions. Likewise, the infirmities within the media. But then again, you know, you keep helping people over and over and over. Don't get tired. But then again, as you go, you know, deeper and deeper, the longer, you see the flaw, the system. And so, if you're an advocate, you look at the cause of the problem, not the effect of the problem. When people come to you, it's just the effect of the problem. Something is wrong.
You mean from an institutional
Yes.
standpoint? So
Yes.
would you consider changing things from an institutional standpoint?
Well, I'd
because
like-
you have been helping from the private sector side.
I'd like to be part of the solution to the problem, not just truth-telling, truth-seeking, and just saying it, and you're not doing anything about it. To make a difference, you have to be an advocate.
So perhaps
Which
that's
I
a
am.
sign you're looking for, that you should consider filing for a national position.
Are you trying to read between the lines now?
Yes.
I'll leave it all up to you.
Okay. So let's go into the things that you say where you have been helping people, but also you have been able to change things from an institutional standpoint. So a lot of people don't know that BTAG has influenced the creation of several laws. So let's look into some of those laws. How did you pave the way for Republic Act 9995 or the Anti-Photo and Video Voyeurism Act?
It started way back in 2002, 3, and 4. You know, back then, you have a lot of students victim of sex scandals, you know, abused by their professors, instructors, teachers, and you see them, the videos all over. It's really scandalous for, if you're a college student, female, you're a victim. So we saw, you know, a lot of problems, co-ed coming to us, crying, shamefully. Sometimes a lot of them are, you know, suffering in silence. So we decided to work on it, and we decided to go after these abusers. And nakatawag ng pansin sa isang young, lawmaker by the name Erwin Tiang under the party list, Buhay party list. So he said, can we work with you? So we did a campus tour until it became a law. So that, we have a lot of case studies. At pumasa naman doon sa Senado kay Bong Revilla. And that's,
So that's
the
what
beginning,
the
yes.
law, yes, the origin of that law. What about Republic Act 9208 or the Anti-Human Trafficking Law?
Well, there were a lot of traffic OFWs from here to Malaysia and some other places in the, sometimes in the Middle East. We facilitate the rescue and even helping. We did something, out of the box that we have to go after the suspect who got family here. We did things that I couldn't discuss. Palit ulo. Pinadala mo doon, inaabuso, wala kang nagagawa. Pero ako, pahaya-hayahay dito. We did something like that to have him cooperate. So, isa yon. So, working with the NBI, working with the, ARTHRAD, Anti-Human Trafficking Division, even, quite lately, even before, that law was crafted because we were, I believe there's one International Justice Mission, IJM, the U.S., group came to us and worked with us, and we did some operations in Cebu. And so the law passed. We did a lot of rescue operations for the minor who were trafficked from Luzon to Visayas, trafficked from here to the other countries. We're off the radar. We're not trying to talk about it. We just simply work, and then we have that. We're a repository of all those kind of rescue operations that you don't see in some other network, because ours is really, it's like a crusade advocate. So that's not a job of the media anymore. The media is supposed to be agnostic. You tell the truth, and then you tell the truth, they seek the truth, but we go beyond that. We help. So we move people, the law enforcers, and that's the reason why we're successfully one of us.
And there's also the Republic Act 12010 or the Anti-Financial Account Scamming Act.
Yes. Ito na yung reklamo. Sana kung nakikinig sa atin yung mga malilit na tao, ano? And even the big people. You have all this money, like 2 million, malaking bagay na siya, 3 million, isang iglap lang, isang gabi. Successively na we withdraw. Paano nangyari yun? And nangyayari sa weekend, the bank are closed. There must be some kind of,
inside job, do you think? Or?
We don't want to say that. Sometimes the bank would hire the services of, a third party to handle. And so, again, we have a lot of complaints coming to us by the horde, especially during the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, we were able to, again, the chairman of the banking, again, Erwin Cheng, we worked with him. And so, yung SONA, pinalabas at sinabi ng presidente natin, naipasa na. We're happy about it.
So you have been able to influence the crafting of laws based on the complaints that you've received
Yes.
over the years, and then the actual enforcement of them you've also been part of.
Yes.
And right now, you're also working on some bills that might help, such as the Parking Liability Act,
Yes.
Magna Carta for security guards, and the Anti-Co-Maker Law. So when do you expect these bills to be passed?
We can understand the mechanism or the relationship within the lower house and the upper house. I mean, I'm not talking like, because I deal with this, the lawmakers. I'm in a foreign state, so I have to understand the mechanism, the relationship. So, kaya kami nagka-interest dyan kasi nanggaling yan sa action center namin eh. We're
Yung
for
mga
real.
complaints din.
You see, these are totoong tao to eh. Mga totoong buhay, totoong biktima.
So very briefly, Ben, can you describe in a few words what these laws are? Like, for example, your pending House bill on the Parking Liability
Matagal
Act.
na yan eh. At as a matter of fact, hindi, I don't know kung saan ang problema, pero sa baba, sa lower house, hindi mapasa-pasa sa upper house. Sa Senate siguro.
But what is it supposed to do?
Well, you're up in arms against the big institution who doesn't want anything to do with, if you lost anything, broken, and, something, your motorcycle, or, a carnap or nailabas, They don't want to have any accountability. May parking ka naman, nagbabayad ka naman ng pera. What happened? Nakalagay pa sa parking ticket, you know.
That you're supposed to waive
Yes.
any liability.
So, what's the point of paying? So, yun ang ginawa namin na talagang, sino ang victim dito? Mga simpleng tao eh. So, na-encourage kami yan. Tumulong naman sa amin yan, si Congressman Erwin Chang noon. So, matagal na yan eh, up to now. I don't understand. Why can't we pass? Siguro, kung nanonood sa atin ng Senado ngayon, please pass it. Kawawa naman yung mga simpleng tao sa ibaba.
Oo, na nawawalan
Yes.
pag nakapark yung kanilang mga
Umiiyak
kotse or
sila
motor.
kasi, can you imagine, binili mo motorcycle, tuwan-tuwa ka, aabot ng 60,000, mawawala.
And then no liability.
Walang liability. Saan pupunta yun? Nobody's listening.
Yeah. What about the Magna Carta for security guards?
Yan, kapareho niyan. You have a lot of security guards coming over here. Na minsan, these are the things na dapat maipasa. And so, we can talk more about it because hindi naman, wala ako sa legislation eh. Nasa 4th estate ako. Baka manawa yung mga tao makikinig, namumuliti kasi Tulfo. No, we're just simply advocating this. And we can talk a lot, but then again, that's the reason why siguro parang nag-iisip ka, why is this happening? Siguro the best, kung nanggaling sa amin, it will be taken care of because ang action center namin is like the yardstick, the barometer of what's going on in the country.
And for the security guards, is this supposed to provide more benefits?
Yes.
And health or security as well for the...
You know, maawa ka sa mga gwardiya na kung minsan nakakagalitan namin, ang baba ng sweldo. May mga security agency na, bahala ka, take it or leave it. So yung iba, quietly, wala silang trabaho, no choice sila, tinatanggap nila. Dapat makita talaga the whole system na kung paano itong mga buhay ng mga gwardiya. May mga gwardiyang masaswerte. Paano yung mga liliit? Hindi nababayaran. Binabawas-bawasan. Pumupunta yan kay Tul Rafi, pumupunta sa amin. Sometimes na may program pa si Tul Erwin, pumupunta rin sa kanya, sa Tutok Tulfo. Now, ako kasi full-time ako eh. I'm a full-time guy. I see it doon sa aming action center. People coming to us. And there are more. What about yung mga nagde-deliver na, ito, wala dyan, yung mga riders.
Yes.
You know, gusto ko sana kung ikaw, pag sinabi mong rider kasi hindi lang nagmumotor-motor ka, yung mga sa Grab, yung mga nagde-deliver, yung mga binubugbog mo, yung mga inaakusahan mo, yung mga nakukulong, walang kalaban-laban. We see that. Dapat masilip yan eh.
And lastly, very briefly, anti-co-maker law?
Well, I wouldn't want to, you know, really, that's one of those things now. I think we need to have a further study on it because a co-maker is something that you act as a guarantor to somebody who's financially weak. Siyempre, kung kapatid mo yan, stand up for that para makautang siya. Pero pag hindi nakabayad yun, ikaw ang mananagot. So, hindi alam ng mga tao yan eh. Being a guarantor or a co-maker comes with accountability and responsibility.
Just like in the United States.
Exactly.
And it affects even your credit rating in the US.
Kung hindi mo kaya, di wag ka mangutang.
Yeah.
Kung ayaw mong tumayo as co-maker or guarantor, di wag. Why? Ako kasi, I think I had studied it carefully because pag tinanggal mo yung co-maker, so, wag na mag-co-maker. Kung mahina ka, hindi mo kaya mangutang, hindi ka pwedeng pumunta sa ate mo, yung ate mo sabihin, ate, pwede ba utang ako kay ikaw co-maker ko? Pwede yun. I would advise people, pagkapatid mo yan, ate mo yan, nanay mo yan, okay. Pero pag mga pinsan mo, kaanak mo, wag. Kasi pag hindi nila binayaran, ikaw ang didemanda ng
So
company.
this law would prevent people from getting non-family members as their co-makers so that you also shield the people who are co-makers from taking on a responsibility that they're not prepared for. Okay.
But a lot of people actually, they say, co-maker ka, pirmahan mo. So they don't read the fine print. Tapos hindi nila alam, nakaatang sa kanilang balikat yung responsibilidad. The responsibility, the accountability, and the liability. Legal liability is yours.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
And Ben, you've been in this industry of media, but also taking on cases that affect a lot of people and that can be very controversial. So how do you handle bashers negative comments, and even death threats. But before you answer that question, we'll have to take a short break.
Okay.
At the forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the forefront. And before the break, we were asking you, Ben, how do you handle bashers, negative comments, and even death threats?
Bashers, the greatest insult to everyone's existence is you ignore it. That's my answer. You know, they're there. They'll always bash you for nothing, probably out of, whatever reasons. I can only control my circumstance, not their circumstance. So the best way, ignore it. Hindi naman totoo eh. Now, the death threat this is real. So, kami mga Tulfo brothers, we're very careful sa security namin, especially with death threat. Sabi nga namin ni Rapi nung araw, isang paa natin nasa hukay, isa nasa lupa. If we're not careful, delikado tayo. There's a price for truth-telling and truth-seeking, and especially being an advocate. You are standing up for the little ones, the voiceless, the faceless. There's a price to pay, choice and consequence. So, gagawin mo lahat, babalansin mo, you're safe. So, may mga security kami. How do we handle that? Can you imagine death threat sa umaga? Sabi nga, this is gas-gas na salita na to. Almusal ko, death threat. Tanghalian ko, death threat. Panggabi, death threat. Nakalimutan mo, snack mo, coffee time mo, death threat. In between snack, death threat. So it's part and parcel of our, job. So we take that very seriously because the Tulfo stands for courage and bravery to stand up for someone. Meron kasi, if you don't think well, baka you'll end up in the statistics ng mga, slain journalists. Look at what's happening sa bansa natin. The government couldn't protect ito mga who would like to tell the truth, the seeker of truth. And there's a price for being a journalist in the Philippines. It's a risky business. That's where I came from. I'm still there. So now, how do we do that? Kami, maingat kami. Sabi ng father namin, ipaglaban mo, tumayo ka. Pero pag-isipan mo, may konsekwensya yan.
So really trained, like
Yes.
from a military
Yes.
person, your dad.
Yes.
And former COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guanzon posted on her X or Twitter account, because you topped the surveys in the recent senatorial surveys. Wait, who is Ben Tulfo? What has he done for the country?
Good.
Enlighten me. What's your comment?
Why can't you invite him here and we can have a talk, conversation, serious conversations, everything that we need to talk about? Then it's so easy for you to criticize. Why did you do it right in my face? I'm a former commissioner. That's my message to you. Unfiltered. Would you accept my challenge?
And you also wrote before that Senator Bato de la Rosa should not be worried about the ICC coming into the Philippines. What did you mean by that?
Well, you shouldn't be worried kung talagang hindi totoo yan. The burden of proof is with the accuser, but then again, ICC kasi, I don't know exactly yung mechanism nila. But may mga statement naman ng government natin, hindi sila makikialam, but they can come and investigate. But, serving that warrant is another thing. Tinitingnan ko ngayon, as a fourth estate, ano kaya ang gagawin ng ating Department of Justice where our court system works here. And beside, this is a little bit more politics, and ICC is something na sinabi naman ng gobyerno, sila makikialam at hindi sila pwede silang tumingin, pwede silang mag-investiga, kasama yung mga police, but serving the warrant, whose warrant?
Yeah.
Warrant nila o warrant ng ating government?
Yeah, so really this goes to that fundamental question as to the sovereignty of the state,
Yes.
and then what the question is always in terms of if you have a functioning system, then what would be
Yes.
the authority of the ICC
Yes.
to come
Yes.
in. When it comes to running, if you decide to run for Senate, would you prefer to be independent, or from which political party would you prefer to get an invitation from?
I would like to focus if there's anything about my advocacy and my platform, kung meron man, which focus on the people, beholden to the people, I do not want to be hit to the left and right. I just do hope that this election is not about us sowing the seed of divisiveness, hatred, anger, intrigues, mudslinging, because I just do hope and pray walang batuhan dito. It's already starting. I want to be in the middle. I'm beholden to the people. If I were to run, I will go independent.
Very clear. Have you gotten any invitations from the administration? Senator Amy Marcos previously released a list of the slate for Senate of the administration of the current administration, President Bongbong Marcos, and your brother Erwin is there. Have they tried to reach out for you to join?
Okay, let me just be very, I was invited to be part of the ticket, and somebody talked to me to join them. Right after the sauna, and I said yes, but I changed my mind. So I called that congressman who is a best friend of mine and told him, "Hey, can I just be independent? Just give it to some others. This is because there's no really administration party. It's a coalition of all the parties." And I said, I want to be independent. Whether I win or I lose as independent. Now, I just don't want to be part of those, awayan, tirahan. I know I will be hit, but lesser.
And have you spoken to your brothers, particularly Senator Raffy, Congressman Erwin, your Kuya Mon, about your plans?
Nag-uusap-usap kami. Mon is giving advice. I give an advice too. So, nag-usap kami ni Tul Erwin nung kanyang birthday. And I just talked to Rafi the other day. And there are things that, we would like to be the last name na hindi siya dynasty, politika. Wala pa, bago pa lang kami. Bakit kami binabato na political dynasty? Mabuti sana kung, dekada na kami. No, dekada kami sa media, lording it over, doon sa helping people, standing up for people. Now, doon sa mga nagsasabi na dynasty kami, binabalik ko lang. No, we're not. Bago pa kami. Pumupunta, we are now going to challenge to see kung sakaling, kung iisipin ko, and I really would like to appreciate yung mga people sa survey, the preference na tinatanong nila. Why are they put? Because of the perception, the expectation, the desire. That's what I'm looking at. Ano ba ang perception ng mga tao sa akin? Which I think, okay, it says this. What's the, the expectation? There's expectation there.
Yes, and clearly they really want you to be there because you're topping the surveys. If, let's say, theoretically, we have 3 Tulfo brothers in the Senate, will you be deciding as a group, or how can you ensure the public that you will be deciding independently of each other?
Well, for now, independent, walang partido, sakaling tatakbo ako. I think it's very logical, very practical, realistic. Powerful yung tatlo na yan eh. Magsasama-sama yan, itayo, ipaglaban yung mga taong walang mukha, walang boses. Isa lang naman ang dugong dumadaloy sa ugat namin eh. Bakit kami mag-aaway-away? It's all about the people that we're serving. This is about, again, now that's what we call public service, because you're a public servant, you're elected using public funds, and public office is public trust. So, you serve the people.
So you will take the people into consideration.
And we as brothers, will have to work together for the betterment of the greater good of, for the greater good.
Very clear. And now we'll shift to something lighter.
Yes.
So we'll ask you to choose between 2 words. Like we give you 2 options,
yes,
and you just choose 1 word.
Okay.
And you don't need to explain. No need for a lengthy explanation. Number 1, Choosing between the two, partner or children?
Children.
On Vice President Sara's visiting former Vice President Leni Robredo, realignment of political connection or friendly visit?
Friendly visit.
On the extensive Senate and Congress hearing on POGOs, in aid of legislation or in aid of re-election?
Serious in aid of legislation.
Broadcast or print media?
Both.
Oh, okay, so outside of the choices. Media or politics?
We can do both.
Okay. And if you make it as a senator, what would be one of your priority legislations?
We have a lot. Mauubos yung oras natin.
And you've already started working
Yes.
on having certain laws passed
Yes.
based on your experience of what people ask help for, and you have also pending bills. So what is something new that you
Okay.
would advocate for?
All right. This is the ease of doing business. This is very important. The private and public partnership should really exist, and it should be inclusive, not exclusive. The business confidence depends on the policy of the government, and their confidence will stimulate the economy because they will be felt by the consumer spending, consumer confidence. If the business people see that the ease of doing business, let alone eliminate the bureaucracy, policies that are sometimes, it's instead of being simplified, it becomes complicated, then we have a problem. Not only getting investors from the outside the country, but pati yung mga small businesses, the nano-entrepreneur, the micro-entrepreneur, the small businesses, the middle businesses. This is the one to stimulate the economy. Without that, I'd like to fight for that. And other things, for example, now, we're experiencing that. The farmers, nagtatandaan na sila. They're also, something is wrong when it comes to, revisitation of probably the devolution, to the LGU, the powers that should have been given to DNR, the DA, it has to be revisited. Because there you can assert accountability, and you can assert responsibility of those people. Kanino ba sila magre-report?
So a lot of your priority reforms have to do also with economy,
Yes.
jump-starting economy, ease
Yes.
of doing business, and helping jobs, and
Yes,
then
yes.
revisiting
Job,
all the
foods,
structures.
etc.
And thank you so much, Ben. But perhaps before we say goodbye to you, you can take off your
Yeah,
sunglasses so people can see you better. Ayan.
Now, nothing wrong with my eyes. But this one has a symbol. I wear my sunglasses even at night, but I can see clearly. Sumasalamin kasi yung totoong pangyayari sa ating lipunan. That's the symbol of this.
That's why. Thank you so much, Ben, for your time. And this has really been insightful. A lot of people don't know much about the difference between the Tulfo brothers, but really, you have really showed how distinct you are the things you have done in the past.
Can I greet
Yes,
somebody?
of course.
Who is this commissioner again?
Commissioner Rowena Guanzon. Bing Guanzon.
Commissioner
Yes.
Rowena Guanzon, I'd like to sit down with you and have a serious conversation on camera. Come on, let's do it.
Or also watch this episode so that she can hear what you've done for the country in the past.
And then maybe after this, watching it, if you're still not satisfied, call me. Let's have a serious conversation off cam or on cam.
Thank you so much,
Unfiltered.
Ben. Again, thank you so much for your time. This
My
has
pleasure.
been very insightful.
Thank you.
With just a week away before the filing of candidacy for the elections in 2025, the strong survey results have given broadcaster Ben Tulfo a reason to consider throwing his hat to the Senate race next year. Rather than looking at a possible emergence of a Tulfo dynasty in the Senate after the 2025 elections, Ben thinks it will strengthen the Tulfo brand of public service to the Filipino people. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. Always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for meaningful conversations that would help you form an objective personal opinion. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. Thank you for spending your hour with us.